Yeah, but you know, we both agreed that we're not gonna get, you know, intimate. We're gonna keep it business. Everything's gonna be business. You know, nothing's gonna happen. Even the GM of the gym I was at when I was training her was like, man, you guys look good together. You know, you should maybe like, you know, hang out or something. I was like, no, man, that's my money. I'm not messing my money up. That's my client. I can't mess that up. And she was like, yeah, he's a player.
Like, no.
He's a player. Because at the time I was working at security too, so I come in on Monday, like, yeah, man, the club was crazy this weekend. So she's like, yeah, you player, you know?
Well, and honestly, you know, this just goes back to, you know, self-esteem and self-confidence, but I didn't think that he would like me. I was like, I mean, he's beautiful. I was like, he's not gonna like me.
Like she's not, I mean.
He's not gonna like me.
Really?
Because you still live in that mentality of Pooh Bear, you know? So yeah, I mean, that was one of the things, and then I thought, you know, I figured he probably had women throwing themselves at his feet, so why even throw myself in the mix? But it's true.
Then she fell.
Yeah, on the floor, literally.
Literally, she did, yeah. So we went, no, I'm being, like, we went on, like, one date, and then we went to Stone Mountain on a hike and had lunch. And then, like, the following Wednesday, she came to train, and I said, hey, I just got a call for this from VH1. They're flying me out to LA tomorrow for 3 months to do the show. And she goes, oh.
I threw myself on the floor and cried.
She's like, no. I was like,
on the dirty gym floor, literally.
Like, I didn't know what to do. I was like, is she joking? Is she really crazy like this? Do I need to get a restraining order? Like, and then we worked out after that. Like, all right, let's work out. You got some stress, you need to work out here.
Yeah. But just to kind of back up before that, like, it's all funny now, but you know, this was me a while ago. But you know, lost Olympic press, broke, tired, overweight, and you know, for you guys that haven't heard my story, you know, I grew up in Central Illinois, tiny town, 1,300 people, worked at a corn refinery plant. Could never get anywhere. You know, I got my paralegal certificate, nothing. I went back to school, got my bachelor's degree, working full time, you know, a single mom, and nothing. I could never get ahead. And so starting the business 5 years ago, I had expected to maybe make like $100 a month. And, you know, just one thing led to another. You know, I stayed consistent with coming to events like this. And I went to every event. Every single event I could go to, I was there. It was the same training every time. We had this thing called game plan training. I think I went to like 10 of them the first year. But it was that knowledge. You know, you get the energy from the team, and you know, it was really contagious to go to. And the more you hear it, you guys think it's hard to get people to sign up as coaches. Once they're coaches, it's the same thing. They have to hear it 3 to 5 times before it clicks. So the more you guys hear it presented, the easier it gets for you. But you know, really one thing led to another, and I feel like the point I want to get to is later in my life, so I feel like I have to go through this whole point. But you know, I eventually was able to quit my full-time job. April was 3 years, but in between that time, you know, I filed for bankruptcy. So less than 5 years ago, I filed for bankruptcy. My car was repossessed. I was living in a dark, dingy, nasty apartment on a mattress on the floor, and you know, just really struggling to make ends meet. And I didn't really know what Beachbody was. Like I told you, I didn't even know what MLM was, so I went to that event, and so that's when things started to click. I didn't know I could make money. I thought I was making $100 selling P90X videos. And I thought, who's going to sign up with me? I'm a secretary, you know, corn refinery plant. I've never spoken in front of people. I was, you know, I actually got turned down for a job because I was too nice. So I'm like, oh, you know, you got to be hardcore to do this. So, you know, going through all of those struggles, and you know, our daughter Tiara, and that's the point that I'm going to get to here in a second. But you know, moved to Atlanta. It was 3 years ago in August, and you know, I never knew when I signed up with Beachbody the potential. And that's, you know, like he said, we're not up here like, you know, flaunting money around and buying gifts for stuff. I didn't know the potential until like a year later, and I wish somebody had told me then like how big the opportunity really is. So one thing led to another. Moved to Atlanta 3 years ago. Tiara and I came. We moved to Johns Creek. So we moved from a town called Warrensburg, Illinois, 1,300 people, 70 kids in like each class at the school. And I moved Tiara to Johns Creek, which is, Johns Creek is Johns Creek. And it didn't go so well. We knew Tina. Other than that, we didn't know anybody. Our family was back in Illinois, and it was a struggle. It was a real struggle. So we were here probably a year before I met Taj, and like we said, we were just going to be friends. So in between the time that Tiara and I were here, was really struggling with a teenage daughter and her feeling of abandonment, and she actually started cutting. So dealing with that self-harm and, saying she wanted to kill herself and, all of this. So you're like, okay, what kind of conference is this? But I got a point to it, and it's going to lead up to exactly what
you said. It's going to get positive.
It's going to get positive. And the point is that everybody has struggles. No matter what you're dealing with, no matter how much money you have, you're still going to have problems. They may not be quite as big. But, so I met Taj, and, he talks about, we went on our first date. It was January 11th. Thursday was the group. But before that, Tiara decided she was going to go back to Illinois to be with her, stay with her, whatever. And it didn't work out so well. And let me just back up before that. It was January, and, I was on the spiraling downward staircase. My life was going down. My business was skyrocketing. I was doing awesome in this business, but emotionally, I was just lost and still alone, just like, what is the purpose of my life, And I decided that January 1st, I was going to let everything go. I wasn't going to worry about anything, wasn't going to worry about people, pleasing people or what people thought. I was just going to trust God. And then it was so that was January 1st. And then a few days later, school started again, and Tiara did not want to go to school. She'd missed like 20 days of school the year before. So it was like every morning, Tiara, get up, you gotta go to school, throwing things, and, just trying to get her up. And I said, okay, Tiara, like, you gotta make a decision. Like, you're either staying here or you're going home. Like, this isn't working. So she decided she was gonna go home. So that was on a Wednesday. I drove to Nashville, met my parents halfway, and drove back in tears because, my daughter, like, this is my baby, and here she was. So then Thursday, we had this group date. So this is all within like a week time period. Thursday we had this date, and deep down I was in love with him. I wouldn't admit it, but I talked about him all the time. And Jacqueline, even, she's like, well, as soon as I posted something about us, she's like, is it that guy you've been training with? And so we went on our first group date, and that was a Thursday night. And then on Saturday, I got a phone call that Tiara was in hospital. She had tried to hurt herself. And so that night, he came over, and
nothing bad.
Nothing bad. He came over that night.
Dirty people.
Yeah, he came over and slept with all his clothes on, slept on top of the blanket.
On top of the bed. I was like,
just to be there with me.
I'm just here. Support.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like, there was, so quality of men, like we said. And so when we went on the next day, we went to Stone Mountain, we went to Korean barbecue, and I was like, oh. And I told him the day I met him, I was like, you're my angel, because he told me, he's like, you're not alone anymore. And how many of us just feel alone? And so I told him from day one, I was like, you're my angel, And so on Sunday, we've gone on our date. I'm on cloud 9, I'm still dealing with, Tiara's in the hospital. She's on the psych floor, whatever. And, but I had this positive part brought into my life. And so when he told me he was leaving, I was devastated. I didn't know what that meant. He was going to go on this TV show, which I thought
it was a dating show too. It was like, I was like, I'm acting. I'm scripted. It's not what you think.
Yeah. So I was like, why? But it really turned out to be the best thing that ever happened. I mean, he was locked in a hotel room. We Skyped like
every day.
24/7 for like a week, and he ended up proposing on TV. So my point was, like, when I threw myself down on the floor, it was because I was literally like, that was my week leading up to that point, and I was like, oh, I just found like a little piece of happiness. Don't take that away from me. And so it all turned out. Everything worked out great. He proposed on TV.
She said yes.
I said yes.
What?
And so, yeah, we had our dream wedding, and you know, I mean, you can't complain too much. We actually just hit the millionaire circle, so hoping to go from $100 a month to earning 7 figures, and that's an accumulative of over 5 years. So we're not making $1 million a year right now. We are past
Yes.
500K
Yes.
with our business. But you know, it doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen. And so, you know, the whole point of this is that, you know, you just have to put God first and put other people, you know, keep in mind what the business is about, and it's about helping other people, and it's about surrounding yourself with positive people, and you know.
Yeah, you definitely can't. You're not gonna succeed if you're doing this business for dollar signs. It's not gonna happen because your agenda is different. You're caring about yourself. You have to care about others to really make this business really grow. Once you start